T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The wrong melon farmers. Thug life. And here we go.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, hell would not have him.
This is as far as you go. No more.
Hello, Sydney. Are you God damn me.
Wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
As a child, my mother would warn us of Baba Yaga, a powerful demon who would possess and devour souls of men.
Rid yourself of your pain. Why burden your soul any further?
Peter Collymore is in the house tonight. Let's make some fucking noise.
He's dead!
Collymore. to me!
You are in good hands. Sooner or later, even a good man has to choose evil.
Ooh, baby. 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 Ooh, baby.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today it's Monday. It's Fan Film Monday, and with me on Fan Film Mondays, as always, is Eric from the Bearded Entertainment. What is up, my man? How you doing tonight?
Bro, I'm good. I'm tired. I just woke up. Told you about that. My schedule's real wonky right now. Just woke up, but glad I'm up on a Monday to watch some fan films and get a little bit of insight on making fan film tonight.
Yeah, man. It's so cool. So cool to get I like to call him the creator, right? The creator of Halloween Stalks and Halloween Stalks 2, especially with the response that we got from those movies. I mean, I don't know about you, but I got a lot of messages on Instagram afterwards, and have been talking to people for the last 2 weeks about these movies, man.
Well, I didn't get a lot of messages, but I think people just like you more. So, you know.
I got that kind of look, man. You know, that, he may make it one day and be hosting the Tonight Show or something like that. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, man, people really liked those
I
movies.
remember
Man.
the response in the chat when the second one specifically, which is
Yeah.
the one we were all watching tonight.
Yeah.
When that one came on, like it tied a lot of things together. You got some more clever Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
I remember the response when that happened, even from myself. I was so really excited to go get into that and see what went into the creation of that film.
Yeah. Well, let's not make him sit backstage any longer. He's been patiently waiting back there. So let's go ahead and bring on the creator of Halloween Stalks and welcome Dominick to the show.
I was about to say, you gonna give a name?
What's up, Dominick? How you doing, my man?
Arrived. I'm good. How are you? Good morning, Eric.
Yeah, good morning, Dominick. Thanks for being here, man.
Happy April Fool's Day. Did you fool anyone today?
I don't do April Fools because,
You don't?
but fun fact, I was in the Navy, I was in the military. I went to boot camp on April Fool's Day. At 5 a.m. on April Fool's Day, I was on a plane going to boot camp, and it was no laughing matter. So I kind of from then on, I was like, no April Fools for me. Just gonna sit back, let everyone else do the pranks, and just remember fondly leaving for boot camp.
I would bet it's never a walk in the park, but on April Fool's Day is probably even worse.
You constantly have that thing in your head, like, are they joking right now? They never were.
I would play on that line if I was them. I would play that bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they might have been doing that, but they never were.
The government's not playing with you, man. They don't recognize April Fools. It is what it is.
They don't
actually
recognize
playing the rest of the time. The 364 other days.
Yeah, I was about to say they were just as harsh and rude on that day as they were the next 8.5 weeks. So
I just think back to when I went to basic training. I went in 99 was the year that I went in.
You've been too? I'm the only one who's never been in the military.
Yeah, I was about to say you went
I'll go
99.
do some push-ups. I'll be right back.
You went in 99. I went in 2009.
Oh, God, it just makes me feel old. But I could just imagine, that first day being like, you guys are kind of rude. What would have happened to me? They bust us in on a cattle truck. There were no seats. You had to stand and hold the little pole. There was only 6 poles and 200 of us stuffed in like cattle. And they just pulled us out. You couldn't see anything. So you had no idea where you were at.
So did you fly into wherever you went to boot camp?
No, I bussed because my boot camp was in Missouri. and being from Ohio, they bust us. Did they bust us or did they fly us? They flew us to St. Louis and then they bust us to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. So yes, we did fly.
Okay, yeah. So I had a similar experience. So like it started at the airport because and that was like one of the first times I ever flew. Like I get to the airport, there's someone in uniform there, and like we're sitting like cross-legged in the airport in one of the terminals, just lining up, waiting for everyone else to get there. And like everyone else is walking by, like having a normal airport flying experience, just looking at these terrified teenagers sitting there, like looking straight and not talking. And at some point, I'm just like, I feel like they could be fucking with us a little bit, but I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, I'm not saying a word. I'm going to stand here and do what they tell me to do.
I didn't expect to bring back traumas by asking you if you had fooled anyone today, guys. Wow.
It's
like
a fun
you needed
one.
to get this out.
Yeah, a little bit. It always comes up a little bit in some ways, but...
What about you, Michael? Did you fool anyone today?
No, I did not fool anyone today. There was no foolery going on here today. As a matter of fact, I didn't remember it was April Fool's until probably 3/4 of the day was over anyway.
When I remembered it to you, saying that
Yeah,
we're
pretty
having a
much.
show
Like, oh, yeah,
on
it is
April
the
Fool's
first.
Day, people are going to think it's a joke.
It is the first.
I did get fooled today, though. I fell for one of them. Really quick before we actually move on. Killjoy Jake, if you're watching by some chance, bro, you got me. He put out a something on his YouTube story that says David Arquette in talks to return to Scream 7. Video link, click here. I'm
Not
like,
cool. You don't play with
bro.
that.
I'm like, what? I clicked on it. It took you to a video of Dewey getting killed in Scream 5. And I'm like, you mother.
I never recovered from that. And actually, I'm still so in pain that there is a nod, a reference to David Arquette, to Dewey in my film. The old lady, the grandma, her name is Mrs. Riley.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
why.
know that. Oh,
Now you do. Now you know.
See, this
that's
is
the type
why.
of thing. That's the
This
type of
is
thing.
why.
Scream is my franchise. I still think they should have killed Gale and kept Dewey alive.
That's when Scream really lost me when they killed off Dewey. That's when I was just like, all right, I'm
They
done.
took a risk that didn't really pay off because after that they lost their lead actress for a money dispute. So who was left? And when you think about it, his death was kind of graphic, so I guess cool. But by the ends of Amber, she's tiny. Like this main character deserved at least one hell of an exit.
Yeah.
No, man, it's the if you get onto the Dewey train, and I know Sarah's here. I see that she says she'll never get over. She literally will never get over Dewey's death.
The pain is real. Yeah,
I'm
I can
still
relate.
holding out hope that we get like a Randy videotape scene in Scream 7. So
Yeah, I was mad when Randy was gone.
I know,
Like,
Randy,
that made me mad. Like, literally was mad about that. And that, you got to go all the way back to two.
It's kind of the easy way, though, the cheap way to bring back someone via videotapes. Like a few days ago, they put out the new trailer for the next Bad Boys, and in the third part, their captain was killed. I don't remember how. And then in the trailer that you see, he comes back through
in a video. If you're watching this, I'm dead. And you're like, okay, but I don't mind it for Dewey because I just want more Dewey. So
if David Gordon Green could retcon everything and start back right after the first one,
man, I don't want that. I leave the timeline issues to Halloween. I want Scream to stay.
There's always the identical twin option.
Oh no! No!
Nobody is gonna take me seriously as a screenwriter after all this shit I'm pulling out. This is my April's Fool to you.
Oh, I was about to say, like, I didn't even realize. I was just like,
who the hell is this guy?
Let's leave Dewey alone. I just want a video, like, because we know he had time. Because he called in 5, he called Sydney, and he had a conversation with Sydney, and then he shows up later to help Sam. So he had time to be like, hey, I'm going to help these kids, but I'm probably going to die. I just want you to know
it was nicely done. His arc was emotional, and he really went through a growing arc in that film. But still, taking him out like that. I mean, he's been stabbed in every movie. He survived every movie. He could have survived this one. I mean, Chad at the end, or at the end of 6, is stabbed 242 times.
Yeah.
And he's there on his
Chad's a Terminator,
going to the
man.
ambulance.
He gives a thumbs up.
Bro, he's a and freaking Tara takes off his oxygen mask to kiss him. I'm like, woman, he needs to breathe.
Yeah. Let's not forget about the girl that was gutted in the subway and comes running back, skipping and everything. Like, I got some pills at the hospital. I'm fine.
Mindy.
I was just like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Do you think they're coming back, those twins?
I hope she doesn't. I love him. I love Chad. Like, that's the thing. I think Chad could have a Dewey type character arc.
Well, if you need to finish
be
the
a
story,
replacement,
you're
though.
gonna need Chad because he can get stabbed 17 times and be fine. So
Yeah, dude.
use him as a shield. I mean,
I was about to say, this has
If
Sydney
he's
walk
the
around
killer
behind
in the
him
next
the whole
one,
time.
he's the unstoppable.
good God. Yeah, he's the Terminator, man. He is the Terminator. Let's see who we got in the chat tonight, and let's
Yeah,
get
it's
into
about-
some Halloween. Let's do
I
that.
was about to say, Scream is definitely not Michael's franchise.
Sure
so.
isn't. It
Is
sure
there
isn't.
any way I can see the chat myself if I want to take questions along the way?
Yes. So if you look to the right of StreamYard, you should have a comment
Oh yeah,
tab
I
up
just
there.
I had put the thing full screen like an idiot. Comment tab. There we are. Oh my
There
god.
it is.
Yeah,
look at
that's everyone in here. So
that. We
Yeah.
sparked something with Dewey's death here. A lot of
Oh,
people
yeah,
have
oh
yeah,
something to
shit,
say.
yeah, about Dewey's death in this community, it will never be gotten over. Ever.
Yeah. DJ's Place Favorites is in the chat saying hi to everyone. What's up, DJ? I hope you're having a great day, my man. Val from Val's Views is in the chat. The General is in the chat, and the General always gets a salute from Movies and Beyond. Val is saying, welcome to the channel. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video out on your social media. Hit the bell icon to get notifications of new videos and upcoming streams. Thanks,
You
Val.
heard the lady.
It's laid it down. Laid it down.
She always does. She's got it down.
Let's see, who else do we have in the chat? Michelle is in the chat saying, hey everyone, what's going on, Michelle? I hope you're having a great day. Jerry Wilson is in the chat saying, please stab that like button. What's up, Jerry? I hope you're having a good day.
We're just
buddy.
progressively getting more aggressive toward the like button. I know I see a slash sometimes, punch sometimes. It's just more and more aggressive toward that like button.
Stomp that like button. I want to see us stomp that like button one time.
Mhm.
Just one time.
You want
Val's
me to unlike the thing for you?
No, never. Val is saying, please subscribe to our guest YouTube channel, and she provides the links for Halloween Stalks up there.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
Please,
Yeah, do that. Please do that.
Please go over and follow, subscribe, hit the like button on those videos. Definitely. And she's also saying you can follow him on IG as well, and she's providing the link below for Halloween Stalks Instagram page. Thank you, Val. Thank you so
You're
much.
so on point, Val. Thank you very much.
Russell Dorsey's in the chat saying, what's up, everyone? I smashed that like button and hope everyone is having a wonderful night. Happy Fan Film Monday, everyone. And smash that like button if you haven't already. Hashtag Thug Life. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Russell?
Thug Life.
What is up, my man? I hope you're having a good day. Let's see.
There's a lot of love going on in your community, man.
Yeah.
Is it like that every opening?
Yeah.
Every time
It's
you
always
spend
like
5
that, man.
minutes?
We
That's cool.
Yeah.
we kind of
It
just
tightens
foster a
people
really positive environment. Even if it's even if it's an opinion you don't agree with, we try to always stay positive. And I feel like if you're
Don't go
not
hang
that
out
guy-
on Halloween fans on Facebook. If you like Harmony, don't go there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing though. If people do get all crazy, Val's here and Jerry's here and Sarah's here. You know, them mods, we'll never even see it. I guarantee
yeah,
you that.
if you're not that type of person, if you're like a negative, like
Yeah.
troll, you either get forced out or you just leave. Because we're just not about that here. We try to
we come on
mostly
those
stay positive.
platforms to let go of the negativity we have in our lives.
Yeah.
So don't bring it on here.
Man, if you go to Reddit, to the Scream subreddit, it's so toxic.
Yeah.
So toxic.
A
It's
shit
crazy.
show, huh?
And I mean, that's the thing too. Like, look, we're all talking about something that brings us together. Why you got to be the person in here that's trying to separate? No, man. Like, we got enough separation in our daily lives of bull crap that we don't want to think about, and we come here to escape that, to watch things like Halloween or, in your guys' case, Scream, or stuff like that. Man, it takes us away from that. And anybody trying to take that away from us, you're not welcome here.
Nothing like a good old movie to bring people together and create new memories.
Definitely.
Exactly. And jumping on a live stream and like watching it all for the first time together. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that kind of thing.
And James has entered the chat. The Shape is in the chat saying, "Hi, folks. Hope everyone had a good day." What's up, James? I hope you're having a great day. Let's see. I see Jason the Nice One's in the chat. What's going on, Jason? I hope you're having a great day, buddy. Hope you're having a great day. Let's see. I want to make sure I get everyone. Melissa is in the chat saying, "Hey to everybody. What's up, Melissa? I hope you're doing well." Sarah Campbell is in the chat saying, "Hey friends, what's up, Sarah?"
Fellow Canadian, Dominic.
Oh, hello. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah.
I think you were there during the viewing party. How do you call that?
Oh yeah. She's here all the time.
Watching
She's
party.
awesome.
I recognize a few names here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out by accident, not by accident, but very late in the process. My first AD, Tommy, was about to show the film to his dad, so he went on YouTube, typed Halloween Stalks, and as your episode 2 weeks ago just went live, it's the first thing that appeared. So he texted me, "Hey, go check it out there. Some people are doing a watch party with your films." So I kind of silently joined in, and I got there while you were like halfway through watching the first one. And when I saw that you turned it off before the ending credits, then I have to manifest myself and to come. Don't do that with the second one because there's kind of a surprise by the end.
Hell yeah, man.
And I uncovered myself, and then I was dragged in. And it was very cool to talk with all of you guys. I had a good time back then.
Definitely. And we were happy to have you in the chat, man. Definitely happy to have you in the chat.
A lot of times, like, I'll reach out to the people who make the fan films just to be like, "Hey, are you okay with this to show it?" And most of the time they are. I've had one or two be like, "No, we'd prefer you didn't do that." So in that case, we don't watch them. But most of the time they're they don't even come to watch. They're just like, "Hey, yeah, man, any critiques or
unless you were like a YouTube channel who just enjoys bashing things, perhaps. But I mean, when we make films, ultimately it's for them to be watched, and you're only helping to like
bring more
more audience to it. Yeah, exactly. So no, thank you. And off the air, we were talking, Michael and I, about the mission you give yourself to help, not only to serve on people's success or film, but really to help them out and make shout outs to them. And it's very, very cool. I really love that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. We have a lot of fun doing it.
And that's the thing for us is, a lot of these, Eric, you're watching for the first time. And I was talking a little bit about that. Them. Yeah. And
I think there's been like two, maybe three out of the entire time we've been doing this that I've seen before.
That's freaking awesome. I do want to point this out. Jerry has gifted one Movies and Beyond membership. Jerry, thank you so much, my friend. You have no idea what that means to me, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think that I may have. Oh, no. Mayanne is in the chat as well. What's going on, Mayanne? I hope you're doing well. Dominic St. Clair is in the chat. What's going on, Dominic?
Sure, it's a very nice guy.
Let's see.
Thank you for the encouragement laugh here. It wasn't really meant as a joke. I don't know. I'll just take it back.
Oh, it was good, man. Jason, the nice one, is saying, "Good evening, Mike and Eric," and he's saying that I loved both of these films. So awesome.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Yes.
Hey, Jason, I think you're the one who left me two comments earlier today. You watched them today, didn't you? Manifest yourself. Just say yes or no. I think it was you. Or am I going crazy?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was about to say it might have been him. And these two fan films, man, you got the approval of Val, who's probably the most
okay.
What's the word I'm thinking of? Not like strict or anything like that, but she's kind of a diehard
Halloween
fan. So she's
picky when it comes to certain things.
Oh yeah, she's like the lighting on Michael's face has to be right. Costume, you gotta.
Oh, that's like a master class. You have to go through a master class to do that.
So she's a really big, like Halloween fan, and she really enjoyed these. So I think if anyone gets that from Val, I don't know if any creator understands how big of a deal that is to get like that praise from Val. But you got it, man. You got it from these two.
It really means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Val.
Just Shape is saying, "From one shape to another, love your movies. They rock."
Thank you very much. If you ever follow me on Instagram, The Shape, I think there are 25 other The Shape. So put something more so I can recognize you among the crowd. A lot of Michael Myers and a lot of The Shapes on there. It's a very popular name.
Oh,
I would like to be able to, sort you out a little.
maybe a number like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, they're
5.
gonna fight for the first one. the shape from, the shape of, or the shape from somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Val is saying thank you, Dominic, for making some really kick-ass Halloween fan films.
Oh my god, my very pleasure and my honor. I had so much fun making them.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that part, man. I like the nerdy technical aspect of it too. Like, oh, what kind of camera did you shoot on? What focal length you got here? Like, I can't wait to jump into these to get these questions going, man.
I have to refer to one of my 30+ persons crew. So at some point I wasn't doing everything. So my DP or my first AD could answer some stuff. So I'll answer the best I can, but I wouldn't be like deep in everything. I was directing the thing.
Gotcha. But
you gotta watch.
I'm sure
out,
you'll know
though.
some of them. Yeah.
Just make sure you watch out, Dominic, because Val said she's eyeing the Shape director's chair that you have sitting back there. She's got her eyes on it.
That is a pretty.
Is my location visible here?
Yeah, that's about it.
This
is actually you're good. You're good. Canada's a really big place, so I think you're. I don't think she could sort you out from there, but
yeah, it is a pretty badass chair, man.
I bring it pretty much everywhere I go. You should see me in the subway, man. But a friend of mine wanted to get rid of the chair on the cushion thing or the back thing. The shape wasn't printed then, but he wanted to get rid of it. So I just reached out. This is mine. Take off your ad, and this is mine. So I got it just in time for the beginning of filming, and I went to one of my friends who has a clothing company, so he has those printing machines at home.
That's awesome.
And because of him, the character of Helen would have the HMH on her blouse, on her blue blouse, and he printed that beautiful baby behind me. So thank you, Mikael. If you're watching, thank you very much, my friend Mikael.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. Mr. Rick is in the chat as well. What's up, Mr. Rick? He's saying really enjoy these movies. I can't wait for part 3. Is part 3 that's something that might be on the table for Halloween Stalks?
Usually I get those questions by the end of an interview. You really want to go there
know,
right away before we discuss everything else?
We had these questions at the end of the watch party last time.
So technically it's kind of like a part 2, we did have the questions at the end of the last stream. So if it counts, you know what, we can save that for the end.
Yeah, we'll bring that one up again at the end.
God, Eric, don't let me forget.
I'll prepare an answer by the time we get there.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Michelle is saying, I think most of the people here were at the watch party. Yeah, I think so too.
I do recognize a lot of names.
Yeah, I think they were. Let's see. Tons of love for Halloween Stalks, man. Tons of love throughout here. And Melissa's saying, let's get to the movie. Love it.
Okay. We can do that.
But yeah,
so what's the walk around? We start a movie, we watch it, and we just pause it through.
Yeah.
Or do we have people asking questions? Will you ask me questions? Do you expect me to just comment everything we see? What's the way to go?
We'll just watch it and have a conversation. If you want to stop it and talk about anything, just let me know. Eric, the same for you, and I'll do the same if I have a question. And then I'll filter in the questions throughout the chat as we're watching. So we can do our best to answer it. And if it's, like a longer answer or so, we'll go ahead and pause it for them.
Yeah, if there's any like references we miss, like the Miss Riley thing that you talked about, definitely bring something like that up.
Yeah.
One thing here. We will discuss the making of the thing. We'll break down some scenes. Let's not go only into nods and references, because I'm preparing a contest online, a giveaway contest in which people will have to find out as many nods, references, and Easter eggs as they can. So we can point out a few of them, but I don't want to put our whole focus on Easter eggs here.
Oh, that's cool, man. I completely understand that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, I will have to lie.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
That's what it is.
All right.
It's been quite a while since I watched it. At least a week. It's gonna be fresh. I've seen it like 200 times. I was editing the thing, so.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I haven't watched it since we watched it last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, sorry, I'm the one who brought me new views. Thank you for nothing.
That's the goal, man. Is to get more eyes on these things.
Oh, it's only quantity. It's only quantitative.
Yeah. All right, so you guys let me know, on the screen here with the sound. Make sure it's, and then everybody in the chat let me know as well. Make sure the sound's good once I get this started. All right. So here we go. Halloween Stalks 2.
Right off the bat, I have to tell Samuel, congratulations if you're watching or listening. Thank you so much for the wonderful score you built in a very short amount of time. 22 minutes of film, and there's at least 15 minutes of music throughout. There's music almost all the time. And the music in this film is beyond my expectations. It's crazy good.
That's awesome.
And that's another
Austin
thing you got to
Duncan
be
here. The logo was provided by Austin Duncan.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for Halloween music, for the shape music, you got to have a very specific type of score.
It's kind of a balance between staying true to the original while sounding fresh. It's a balance, but it's not easy. And Samuel really managed to do something good. I mean, just that theme here.
Yeah.
It gets into you. It's aggressive, it's heavy, and it works. Okay, pause.
Yeah. So this isn't Haddonfield, right?
Yeah.
I get asked a lot about Livingston County. So for those who knows, I hope you will like the extra mile I went. Haddonfield is a fictional town, right? But it is located in the existing Livingston County. That exists. Like they created that fake town. Haddonfield exists in another state, I think. There is an Haddonfield somewhere in the United States, but not in Illinois. And Livingston County allowed me to be more grounded, more real, and also as the stories of both film happens in a more, sorry for my English here, rural? R-U-R-A-L?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Rural.
Yeah, rural.
Rural. Yeah,
non-city.
Rural.
I sound like a monster. Rural. In a more rural area. It's close to Haddonfield without being Haddonfield. And I did my research. I went online trying to find everything that was canon. So I was looking for maps of Haddonfield. So where are the streets? And I found out that there is a train track, but there is a river. And by the end of the film, the treehouse is next to a river. So I really tried to establish something that for diehard fans, it would feel like this whole area. But Livingston County exists, and Haddonfield is a fictional town located in that.
Awesome.
That's really
I didn't
cool,
even
man.
know that.
I
did my work.
I didn't even know that either.
Yeah, you did. All right.
We had 5 filming locations to recreate that house.
The thrill pigs were
5 different houses were used to make one.
They knew
And I
the
dare you
wolves
to find
wanted
where
to eat.
we go from one house
The wolf
to another.
Oh, I couldn't tell you, man.
Yeah,
Love
there's-
that type of filming. Movie magic.
He knocked at the door and said,
I discussed that in the Halloween Lives podcast, but the use of the 3 little pigs is not a coincidence. Do you want to pause again? Do you want to hear about that a little?
I do.
I thought it was cool to have this story that kind of foreshadows or reflects the actual story we are watching. If you don't consider the dad that we don't really see, you have the mother, you have the son, and you have the grandma, all of which have their different house. And in the 3 little pigs, those 3 beings that are targeted by an evil being all have their houses. And they run from one to another, and they aren't really safe anywhere. So I thought it was kind of a cool parallel to make. She's kind of foreshadowing what is about to happen.
Yeah, because she has her house. He has the
treehouse.
Treehouse, yeah.
And grandmother's house is
grandma's
just,
house.
just over the hill. So you got a little Red Riding Hood in there as well.
And the big bad wolf got
I was about to say Michael's the big bad wolf
the
here.
big bad wolf's
trying
got a
to get
white
in,
mask
yeah.
on, and he's carrying a butcher knife. That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome, man.
Thank
Hell
you.
yeah. There is a little scene coming up right here that I definitely want to pause it at because it was something that I was thinking ahead of time, and now I was like, no, there's no way that they're going to do this.
Mom.
But it is coming up here shortly.
Make sure to let me know.
Oh, I will definitely.
Did Grandma let you watch the thing on TV?
And it was more in like a.
You know what
Here,
gives her
we could do it right here.
Some
Oh.
older boys at school
I'll show it
told
again.
me the boogeyman
Well, actually, I
comes
could just
out
talk
on
about it.
Halloween
It
night
doesn't
and
really,
takes
need a
kids
pause.
away.
I noticed the Home Alone poster,
Mhm.
right?
That's
And I noticed that, he was young. Is it like, I was like, whoa, is that a sign that maybe, he's going to be going head to head against
no
Michael
such thing
eventually
as to
in a Kevin McAllister kind of way,
Yeah. There are a few nods to Home Alone. Do you want to pause again? I can. When I start, I can go for a minute, and we will like go through the film while I talk about that.
Sure.
One of the reasons I wanted that Home Alone poster is that it's a very cool film that I would watch all the time when I was young.
Yeah.
It helps to figure out in what era this film is happening. I
Right.
wouldn't have in 2024 a Home Alone poster even if I was a kid. It's too old.
Right.
In my mind, Halloween Stalks happens in 1993. The year I was 6 or 7 years old, and it's the year Jurassic Park came in theater, one of my favorite movies of all time. So having this poster there kind of reflects that era that contains a lot of souvenirs to me. In Home Alone, there is a treehouse. A very small scene happens in there, but the kid goes in the treehouse to try to get safe at some point, which Nicholas does as well. And I really thought that just a little later in that scene we're watching, when he's at the window and he sees what happens to his dad and he starts yelling, you have Kevin McAllister yelling on the poster behind him. And they kind of look alike with their short blonde hair. So
Yeah.
I was just, having fun on set with that. It was a kind of another cool nod.
Yeah, and not only did it provide a time frame, but some of the other things did too. I noticed there's a Mr. Potato Head and stuff like that were all popular around that time frame. So it was like kind of setting. I figured that this was 90s with the poster. Like you did a very good job of laying that out. So it looked really good.
Very hard work regarding the set design. I did a lot myself when it came to gathering stuff. I bought a lot of stuff on Marketplace and stuff like that. This room, every piece of furniture I gathered for making the bedroom of the kid. So the bookshelf, the bed, the sheets, the desk, even the closet. The closet has been built. It's not a real closet behind the mom, and in which she hides later in the film. I couldn't find in any homes, any houses I visited before filming, a closet that would allow me to shoot like that. So I had to build it myself. And at first, I considered the idea of just building the front frame with the doors that I would just, put against the wall. And I would have had to find a closed space to replicate the closet. But then I figured, if I'm building that front frame, why not just build the back frame, link them together, put some carton boards, and I'll have my full closet in which I can shoot. Like there's one of the 4 walls that we'll leave open so the camera is there.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome, man. And production design, I don't think production designers get enough love because it's so. Production design is one of those things that if you do it right, no one notices. But if it's wrong, everyone notices.
Exactly.
It's there's such unsung heroes of the movie industry, making you really believe you're in the environment that the movie's supposed to have you in. So
if you do it too well and it catch attention for the good reasons, still you're not doing a very good job because people are not immersed in the story. They are looking around. Oh, this is very beautiful. So you really have to do it subtly.
Yeah. You have to not draw attention. Like I said, it's one of those things. If you do it right, no one notices.
You make it look like it goes there, like
exactly.
It belongs. Yeah.
So good job, man. Good. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was
if
fun.
You would have told me this is how the room was and you all just filmed there, I would have believed you. Like it really works out.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the walls are painted in a very light blue? In this room, the walls are like sky blue. At first, I wasn't sure if it would look good on camera, but when I figured, oh, it's like Andy's room in Toy Story, then I was sold. And yeah, we're shooting here. I'm a huge fan of Toy Story, and I've been told many times in my life that I kind of look like Woody. Like pointy nose, round hair, long arms, stupid smile. Immature.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, that's so
Keep
cool.
going, keep going. I
There we
don't
go.
want people to remember that. Oh, she's laughing at me too.
And then I think I made a comment too about that. I was like, kind of reminded me of Rex from Nightmare. You know, the dinosaur that he had.
Yeah, it's more about Blue in Jurassic World here.
It's
Okay.
probably just trick-or-treaters
I was looking
doing
for
their food or
a
something.
teddy bear or something, and when I saw that Velociraptor, oh,
See?
I had to go with
Dad's
that.
already hit it out,
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure everything's fine. There's nothing to fear.
I really enjoyed that part when you're not
Quiet,
sure, but
close
you
your
hear
eyes.
the yell, you hear
Can you
the
leave
voice
it
of the
alone,
dad outside.
please?
If you haven't watched part one, like very recently,
Here, honey.
you're not sure if it's a direct sequel.
Oh,
but
I put it
your brain's
right
gonna be-
together right
Yes,
away.
I say, Michael, you got this. Michael called it like immediately. He was like, "Oh, I bet this one starts like the overlap. Like, I bet we're gonna see the dad." And I'm like, "And you
I
called
wanted
it."
to pay homage to the original films, and they are direct follow-ups, so I had to do the same thing here. It's
Yeah.
part of the mission I'm into when I make those films.
Well, too, and it makes it so seamless when you watch one and then two. You know what I mean? It's great.
It's the same creative team behind. We had more high-end gear with the second one, so maybe there's a difference there, but it's the same creative team. So yeah, they're supposed to make sense, to be follow-up that you don't really. Yeah, it's seamless. Sorry, I can't find the right word. It's seamless.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
The boogeyman! It's gonna hurt them! It's coming to get me!
Poor
And I'll
kid.
tell you
They see
what,
nothing down
and I
there.
mentioned this a lot a couple
they
weeks
saw
ago.
him.
You guys
He's
killed it
outside.
with that
He's
mask.
coming.
That mask is so on point. Like,
We'll talk about it later. I have plenty to say
Look at
about
me.
that. But
Yeah.
Darkness Reigns
The
on
Boogeyman
Instagram.
isn't
Darkness.reigns. He's the reholer who provided the two masks I used.
fantastic.
Big Lester? I'll go get
And I'm gonna
Dad.
be honest, I didn't even pay attention. I was so focused on the action during these things and like following the story. I didn't even pick up on the pajamas he's wearing until the very end.
I designed
I
it myself.
I didn't even pick up on it, but now that I know, I'm like, oh, it was so obvious. It's like right there.
When the idea came for that pajama, you want to pause again?
Yeah.
When the idea came for the pajama, I wasn't sure if I could nail it. At first, what I did is look online if I could just find one. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch pajama. Everything I would find would have the logo Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
So I reached out in my community on Instagram. There's this guy. I don't remember the name of his Instagram name, but his name is Jack Malone, and he reels masks and he sells stuff. And he created those vector images. So I reached out to him. I told him what I needed. He created those images for me in the same day, because filming was coming very soon, and I had to make those pajamas in a very short time if I wanted it to work. Because finding the actor to play Nicholas took some time as well, and I couldn't make the pajama if I didn't have the size of the kid.
Yeah.
So anyway, he sent me those 3 images. Then I found a shop maybe an hour away from home where they would print on that, but in a very short amount of time. So the next day they would send it to me. Then I went to a tailor from who I already used the services before, and I asked her, "Can you do a pajama out of this?" So within a week, we came up with that, but it was stressful. I think I got the pajamas the same day we were starting shooting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the kid was on set, so yeah.
Wow.
But it looks good. I mean, it's subtle, and most people don't really notice it right away. But it's one of my favorite homage, and it really looks good on him. Like, again, seamless.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks totally normal. Like you don't pay attention to it because you're like, oh, it's just a kid wearing pajamas. I mean, it looks natural. But then we really focus on it at the end, and I'm like, I remember watching this, and I was like, right at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, look at his pajamas.
In the last shot.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. It's such a like little things like that take a movie from good to great.
I don't like when those references or homages are, very much in your face, just like the car in the driveway. It's the same station wagon the shape would drive in the original one, or a very similar model, but never in the film. I frame it in a way like, look at the car we had. It's there. You only see parts of it. It's there. If you recognize it, good for you. And if you don't see it, it won't change the story you're watching.
Right. It doesn't take away from it if you don't notice it, but it just enhances it if you do. Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah. I hide those Easter eggs actually. So when you rewatch again, you will find new things again and again.
That's fantastic. Peter Anthony from Peter Anthony Productions has swung by saying, "Congratulations, Dominic, on the film and success."
Thank you very much. Peter? I appreciate that.
Up. And he's also saying, "Hello, Movies and Beyond fam. What is up, Peter? What's going on, my man?" All right, we ready to go? I had to pause at this part because it was just like, man, that could be a poster right there.
This shot?
Oh, man. Yeah. Like that could be a freaking poster right there. That's fantastic.
It was 4 a.m. when we were filming that, and when I approached one of my friends whose house this is, we were only supposed to film outside, but I knew I had to come inside at least for this shot from the window. And early in the process, my schedule was to film this first thing. So I get out of the house and I leave them be. But nothing ever happens accordingly on set. There's always something you can't predict. So we had actually to end our filming night with that. So we were filming this. It was 4 a.m. and I was in the bedroom of one of the kids of my friends. So they were all sleeping in with their parents, and I was with a very limited crew, my DP and my first AC, and we were when you don't sorry for my English again, when you don't talk loud, like whispering.
Yeah,
we're super excited. Look at this shot. Look how it's cool.
Yeah,
it was very creepy in its own way.
It's funny I brought that up because immediately Val was like, "Look at the shot where Michael paused. That's so Halloween 78 vibes." That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Val.
78, but his mask then also has some horns. So if you bring the brightness up and you zoom on him, the mask kind of looked like the mask in H2.
Okay. All right. It looks
another homage there. Oh, it looks great. Yeah.
And Jason, the nice one, is saying, "One thing that terrified me when I first saw the OG when I was 10 is how the shape takes its time, never in a rush. This film captured that relaxed approach to his kills, bone chilling." And I mean, dude, like we said, a couple weeks ago, Michael is just freaking fantastic in this, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
I was recently on the Halloween Lives podcast with my friends Blaine and Austin Duncan, and Blaine would say that unlike most serial killers on which you are on their timeline, they come at you, they attack you. When it comes to Michael, he's on your timeline. He follows you, he lets you do your thing, and he knows at some point you will screw it up, and then he will get you. But he takes his time because he's enjoying it. And I thought when Blaine came up with that, it was a very good way to explain the character.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, he was never like a Jason, that was full force in your face. He was it's about the stalking. Halloween Stalks, look at it. It's about the stalking and that, that slow looking around the bush. You get the over the shoulder shots, that atmosphere that Halloween provided to go with the score and everything. It's just one of a kind. It's fantastic.
I understand him. It's fun to do.
Yeah.
I said I'm a stalker. At some point, I was looking for houses and I was hiding in my car, taking pictures of houses that could work for sets for the film.
Scouting locations.
And it's kind of fun to do. Take your time. You hide. You look a little. So no, I get him.
It's like, what's this guy doing here? What's this guy doing?
In my own neighborhood, man.
In your own neighborhood.
I'm marked forever.
Here we go. God, that's so good.
That house in which most of the interior scenes happen is wonderful. I posted an ad on a Facebook group, Spotted. Do you have that in the state? Spotted, Ohio, and things happen in that in your hometown? Spotted, name of your town.
We may, and I just may not know.
It's
I'm
like
not really sure.
a Facebook group for one
William,
small
buddy?
town in which you can post pretty much everything. Hey, I saw that happening on that street. What's going on? You know.
Oh, wow.
we do have something similar.
So I was
forget
looking
what we
for a
call it.
specific house. I put a description, some images as references, and this guy I don't know, come visit. And when I got there, he invited me inside. He never asked me for a penny, and it was no problem if I was there for a week. My entire crew came in, and we filmed in his place, and he just let us. We became friends after, but I didn't know the guy. Benjamin.
That's so
Thank you,
cool.
Benjamin.
That's awesome.
H2 shot right here.
Yeah, making a film really is takes a village. Beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's actually a fake shot.
Is it green screen?
Can you come back a little?
Sure.
When I got the car,
William?
when I managed to find the car, I didn't know those side mirrors were kind of fixed there. You can't move anything on them. So there was no way I could film the shot I wanted and frame in a way I could see the reflection in the mirror there. So what we did is that we made like an empty plate of this shot.
Yeah.
And I reuse actually the shot of the shape you see here is
Mhm.
one that I take from the ending scene when he's facing the kid. So it's the same trees of that ending shot you have behind him on the mirror.
Oh,
So you just kind of like overlaid it
Yeah.
on top.
But what doesn't work here in real life is that if I really did the focus on the reflection, it would be a few meters behind. So the mirror itself would be blurred. But here the mirror is on focus. So it's illogical. No one ever noted that. But every time I watch the shot, I got you all.
Yeah.
it looks good. Yeah.
It looks real, but it's not. If the focus is made on the mirror itself, the reflection would be all blurry. You wouldn't see a thing.
Wow.
If you go back to the real H2 in 81, the mirror itself is all blurred. The forefront and the background are on focus.
Wow, man. See, that's something that's good too. Not only are we getting insight like this for us, it's like learning too. I would
that's
have
a big
never
thing.
thought that whatsoever. And I think even when we watched it 2 weeks ago, Eric and I were both like, man, that's a hell of a shot. And as we just watched it a minute ago, Eric's like, man, that's a hell of a shot. And I'm thinking the same thing. And you tell us how you guys did it, and that's fantastic, man. That is
I know
fantastic.
that because when I first realized that, when I was comparing this that I was editing at the time to the H2 shot, and I figured, oh my god, the mirror should be blurry. I went into panic for at least 5 minutes. It doesn't work. It makes absolutely no sense. Everyone is going to point me out. And in the end, it actually serves the story because when the mirror in my film becomes unfocused, it brings your eye there to the shape that will appear. But again, no one ever noticed that or like commented on that. So
Yeah, we're movie fans. We want to be lied to, man. Like that's what we're here for.
fair enough. I hear you. Duly noted.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, man. Just give us a good story, and we'll
Will
accept
do.
it.
Will do.
That's great. Wow. All right. Moving on.
This backyard, this treehouse, guys. One of the best find ever. Do you want to know the story behind how I got the treehouse?
Yeah.
I'm
William?
sorry, you'll have to pause again.
Sure. Pause on the treehouse too.
Facebook reminded me that back in February 2023, like 3 weeks after the first film went online, I was already looking out for a treehouse. I didn't remember that I started the process that early. So it means the idea of a scene happening in such a place was already implanted. Finding that, I really thought it was impossible. I mean, in 2023, 2024, how often do you come across such construction? Everything now is built small and kind of cheap. Like daddy spending 8 weekends in the summer to build something like that, it doesn't really exist anymore. I tried my luck anyway. Was already thinking about contingency plans. What would happen if I don't find a treehouse? And then, as I'm posting not an ad, but on my own Facebook, for my friends, a request if anyone hears about that. And I have this friend, Léa Valérie, who I worked with like 10 years prior on a TV show. And she lives like an hour and a half away. This treehouse is 15 minutes away from my place. And there is a small river behind. So maybe a week before I posted that thing on Facebook that I was looking for a treehouse, she was kayaking on that river. And she's a art director. So every time she sees something that's out of the ordinary, she just can't help herself. She take a photo of that.
Yeah.
And then she sees my message on Facebook. We haven't spoken for 10 years. We just remained like Facebook friends.
Right.
And she sees my message a week after she saw that. Not a year after, not a year before, a week before.
Just beautiful coincidence.
Yeah. So she texts me or she writes me on Facebook. She sends me the photo she took. And what she tells me is that she's not living in that area. She lives an hour away. So she remembers a bit where it is. And what she tells me is that when she took the photo with her iPhone, the iPhone recorded the coordinates. So she sent me a map, but it was approximate. So it's like a Saturday, 4 p.m. I get in my car, have this map, put the photo. So when I open the phone, the first thing you see is the photo of the house that she sent me. And I get on that long street and I go door to door. Hi, is this here? Is this treehouse here? Most people had no clue what I was talking about until the fourth or fifth house. Oh yeah, I think it's those nice people living 10 houses from here. So I end up finding the place. And I'm really stressed out because I can see the treehouse from the street and it looks fantastic. And if they say no, I'll be heartbroken because it exists. It's there. It's 15 minutes away from where I live and it's perfect. So I knock at the door and I'm really stressed out. And Sébastien, the owner of the place, opens the door. Never met the guy. He puts me at ease right away. So he listened to me. He heard what my project was about. And what he told me is that treehouse, he built it like 10 years ago for his kids that are now teenagers. And it's not used for anything anymore. So he was really happy to help me out with my project. He didn't ask me for anything in return. And if you look at the image, you see that ladder there. It didn't exist. The only way to get in the treehouse is the stair on the tree near the water, which is very tiny, very narrow, and it wouldn't have worked for my story. So I asked him the permission to cut into the fence and build a ladder. And their land is not leveled. It goes downhill. So I had to dig a hole so the ladder would be held properly. Like 4 hours of work. We with a friend of mine, we went to a shop, we bought the wood to build that, we took our measurements, and we just built the ladder for the film. So not only did they allow me to come there 2 nights consecutively and shoot for 12 hours at a time, and my entire team had access to the house. It was October 19th and 20th. And there was rain during those 2 nights, so we had to go inside at some points. There were 30 of us. They didn't expect that, but they let us do our thing, and they were so happy when they saw the film at the premiere 3 days before the film went online. So this treehouse, the way it came in my life, magic.
Love those kind of stories, man.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. And there are good people out there, man, that want to help. And
there are plenty.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I think I'm a good seller when I come to talk to you about a project that passionate me. But I'm a good seller. I mean, it is authentic, but I think I have this light in my eyes. I get back to my kid state, being super excited about things, and they can feel that. They can feel that there's something ignited in me, and they're kind of happy to help out and be part of something that's quite cool. We'll say it like that.
And there's a lot of iconic movie things, like iconic moments that are made that way. Like that just kind of happenstance just come together. Like, I mean,
we call them happy accidents.
Yeah. Like, and the first one that comes to mind for me is in The Godfather. Like when Don, like the Don's holding that cat in the opening scene. That cat was a stray that was just on the sound line, and like walked in, and he just picked it up. Like that was never
I
planned.
love that, and it just brings something more to the character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like little things like that. I think like those iconic moments come together, and most of them are never planned. There's just happy accidents coming together all in like one little bolt of lightning that's captured.
Yeah, it brings something more when you rewatch the work and you're aware that has it not happened, what would it be?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It'd be different. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
definitely.
Oh,
all right. So moving on.
We don't have to pause it, but do you know what kind of camera this was filmed on?
If I know, I'm pretty aware. We filmed it with the Arri Alexa 35.
Oh, that's a good camera. It's a really nice camera.
My DP, instead of buying a house, buys cameras that's worth $100,000, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he
those are
provided
really,
for the shoot.
Really high-end camera.
I'm the luckiest man on earth. He's a super good DP, and he provided that piece of equipment that is gold. And
Honey, you left the door.
I don't want to show
open.
off the fact that we had a camera that's worth that. The
Yeah.
idea of having a good camera is that it allows you so much more flexibility in post-production when it comes to color grading.
Yeah.
That living room was a bedroom. Every set is not what you think it is.
No. But I love a shot like that. Michael, I think, was about to say it as well. But
The out of focus shape standing behind her. Just
yeah.
What was my inspiration for that shot?
Why are you down?
What is
You
it?
can pause if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I just love the depth of field, like having a very shallow depth of field. You got something in focus. You crank that f-stop like all the way down, so nothing of besides your subject is focused.
We did something similar in the first one with Paul when he gets into the shed and he moves further, and then the shape is standing behind him.
Yeah.
But the framing of this one here, H20, the opening scene with Marion in the forefront. Doors are open, she just found the file of Laurie Strode being emptied, and she looks at one door that's closed, she turns around, and then you have the shape appearing behind her in that long corridor. I always thought that was one of the best shots of that film, so it inspired me for this one here.
Nice.
Hell yeah. That's freaking awesome.
That kid is freaking awesome.
And it's just how that transitions from Michael to him. You see her get startled and it's him and not Michael.
But it plays with your brain as well.
It does.
It's only a kid.
Thank you, Eric. That's
he's
exactly
standing
what I was gonna
exactly where
say.
the shape was, So yeah, perhaps it's foreshadowing.
Yep.
Baby.
Didn't know it at the time, first time watch. But
There's
Hopefully, you don't want to know the ending.
No. Here. That's right.
Our shape is so good, man.
Right.
We have two actors portraying the shape in that film. They both are magnificent.
I love the little throwing it out there, do as I say as well.
Yeah.
Gotta have that classic line in there.
And I love how you guys kept the eyes so dark. You know what I mean? Like, it just adds so much to it for me.
Pause. I will explain you.
The black
Everything that came behind that.
Yeah.
A thing I didn't want to do. They did that in Resurrection and perhaps in a few other sequels. Blacken the eyes with makeup. I didn't want to do that because you want to feel a presence. You won't put patches inside the mask or how is it called? Those
You talk about the black mesh.
Yeah, exactly, mesh. I didn't want to do that because you want to feel a presence. In the original film, I never heard that. I assume that you've seen those behind the scenes photos of Nick Castle. He had this kind of afro. And what I think is that when he put the mask on, his hair would kind of push the latex a little further. So the latex wouldn't be stuck to his skin. Kind of like it was in H20. Chris Duran has his mask, and the mask is so sticking to the skin that you you see very clearly his
Yeah,
eyes.
you just see him. Yeah, clear as day.
And what Nick Castle would do is that he would bring the mask a little further, so his eyes wouldn't be aligned with the holes. The eyes would be a little higher, so the holes would be more lower, actually. I tried to do that with my actors, but what we did as well, because those Trick or Treat Studio masks are very big, it takes quite a head to fill the whole thing. So last year, when I was doing the first one, Benoit Sanssouci, who played the Shape in part 1, came home here. We watched the 2018 film, then the original, so he could take notes, and then we would practice the walking and the mannerism. He put on the jumpsuit and the coverall, and then he put on the mask. And the mask was so big that because of the color, when he turned his head, the mask would remain in place.
Are you serious?
Because the mask is too big.
Yeah.
So I thought, what can we put under so it fills it without looking uneven?
Right.
Because all I had back then was a beanie with those rolled thing, but it was sewed like that, so you couldn't unroll it. And when we tried that on his head, well, the mask would stretch only near the upper part of his head, and the eyes would look, for the lack of a better word, Japanese. Mm-hmm. So I had to shop for toques or hoods, and in the end, we used 2 layers. So he would put a toque first, and then a open hood. And those 2 layers of clothes on his head, when he put the mask on, the mask would really remain in place, but it would take the latex of the mask a little far away, a little away from his eyes. So when you light him from the top, the light won't reach his eyes. You will only see reflection on the cheek, and then you have the presence under the mask, but you don't see the eyes.
That's
so
fantastic.
When I was shopping for those hoods and toques, I was by myself in a clothing store trying those 2 layers on my head in front of a mirror with the employees looking at me. What the hell is he doing? Yeah, those behind the scenes are gold.
Yes, they are. Wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, those are. Awesome. I've never considered shooting a Halloween fan film. Haven't, because
do you now? Well, it's a huge amount of work.
I don't. I'm not. I love Halloween, obviously, but it's probably like my 3rd favorite franchise, and I think I would upset people because those are the details I wouldn't think of that would probably go overlooked.
Takes a lot of preparation. If you want to do it, I won't say right, but if you want to do it as perfect as it can be, it takes a lot of preparation. And before doing my 2 films, I spent a year watching every interview I could find. So I would take note about how John Carpenter intended his film, what Nick Castle went through, what James Jude Courtney thought about it. And I would note down how they saw the character or why they decided to film in a certain way. And then when I came on set, I would just, take bits of that and try to not replicate, but really pay homage while doing my own thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Scream when I do a fan film. I just got to worry about the voice. That's the thing.
The shape walks. When you do horror movies, most of them happen at night. So you have a very, very limited depth of field. Like if you're out of it, forefront or back, you're out of focus. Gets blurry. Yeah, out of focus. Exactly. Very, very easy. When your characters are walking, it's already hard, but it's doable with that focus pulling thing. When your characters are running like Ghostface does, good luck, my friend.
Yeah, it's so hard. So hard.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Right. You were talking about. I'm sitting here looking at the mask now, like.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
you're trying to see the eyes.
Well, you can. It's what you said. Like it feels like you can kind of see skin underneath, but you can't see eyes.
Yeah, you can't at all.
Like
it's great.
You see the bone, cheekbone, but you don't want to see anything more than that. But you want to see something. It's not a ghost. It's a man behind the mask.
And the fact that you picked this movie to put on the TV.
Again, it helps set the era or the time time frame.
My freaking guy right there.
I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never
great
friendly.
pick too.
A lot of research there to find the right quote, So it makes sense. It's funny, and what I like about it is that pause again, please.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that most of the time you have people who likes Friday the 13th and people who likes Halloween,
I
and
like 'em
they're
both.
kind of we love them both, but most people they're either in one group, in one team, or the other.
Mhm.
And it's like those two characters are in competition. So
Rivals,
here,
yeah.
I thought that having that on screen, that other character, that lady on screen saying that, those two characters share something. They're both masked, they're both doing their thing. So when he tilts his head, it's like, another like me, So they're kind of reconciled, or buddies here. It's a buddy cop comedy I'm trying to make here.
Love that. I love that, man.
And I'll tell you what, too, as soon as she took off running, that music hit perfectly.
It did.
Like it's
Doo-doo.
I mean, I hate to keep using the same word over and over, but seamless, man. Like I keep using that word because it just, the transitions are just so seamless. Like you get that moment where he looks at Jason, she takes off running, and then that music cues in, bam, that the shape's on the hunt.
The rhythm, or the pace in the editing is very, very important. It's something I'm still learning, but I think I get it. I spent hours and hundreds of hours doing that, like editing this film. This 25 minutes film took forever, but I'm very into details. Like I'm a perfectionist. I think you can tell. It's almost a sickness here, a mental illness, but it pays off in the end because the pace, in my opinion, is pristine. I really want it like to feel like a music partition. When you watch the film, you watch the editing grid, it feels really rhythmic.
Yeah, it's great. And this right here, this is another poster for you, man. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, standing in that doorway, like perfectly lit.
This face to face as well, because just after the shot, we cut to the other angle, and you see her. I don't know. I really like that. We improvised those shots actually.
Yeah,
on set. I saw the opportunity, and I just took it. Like, let's add one more shot on the shot list that's already way too long. I had to make so many difficult decisions. Like when I found my color grader for this film, I didn't know the guy, Victor, so I speak to him on the phone, and he agrees to make the project, to take the project and color grade it, because I tell him it's a 23 minutes film if you take the credits off. And in his mind, such a movie of that length, usually it's about 120 shots. I have 463 shots in my film because I edit a lot. And when he saw the timeline, I was doing the work with him, because for him it's easier if I'm giving him my notes right away, so there's no back and forth. Right. So I sat with him during the 60 hours it takes to color grade this film. And when he saw the timeline the first time, and he saw the amount, the number of clips, he looked at me. You are insane. Guilty.
You are welcome. That's what I would have said.
But all that to say, I had shot list with 50 different shots for a scene. So my first AD would look at me. You'll have to make decisions, man. You'll have to cut half of it. Half. I had to cut half of what I envisioned to, like, cut into my scenes. It still works pretty well, but there are shots that I know I don't have, and I'm still to this day. That would have been cool. But man, I prioritize. I mean, I only kept the cooler shots,
See, that's why you got to make part 3. You can get those shots next time.
Smart ass. Let's keep going.
Here we go.
Go back to bed, Eric.
Something that hit that music. That mode, man.
And that slow motion on the empty door frame.
The music is iconic, but still Samuel managed to inject his own spin into it.
It's so good.
This house, the exterior of this house. It was the house next to the one that had the tree house. How lucky was I? And they accepted as well that we filmed at their place.
That's awesome.
So I could leave the equipment overnight there. That was a blessing.
Oh yeah.
The door. Please.
You know what, guys? I think that this scene is my favorite of all the movie. The shape is not in it, but the intensity of this
You call
exchange,
911?
this
Yeah.
scene, the acting, I love it. I love everything.
There's someone in my. Where's Nicholas? Nicholas? I told him to come here.
Yeah,
Where
like
is
the
he?
realization that she left her son in the house with that
Nicholas is not here.
murderer is like
The nightmare
like a
of
ton of
every
bricks.
parent.
As usual,
Yeah.
after work.
And I mean the
Something
subtle way
happened?
that the score clicks too. Like when she realizes you get that boom. You know what I mean? Like it's so good, man.
We created a theme for Ellen that comes back 3 times in the film, and sometimes it's subtle. The first time you hear it in through the lullaby that we have early in the film when she's reassuring her son. Second time is when she gets back right there at the door with the fire poker in hand. And last time is when she runs from the basement window to the treehouse.
Oh, I can't wait till we get
And
to
there's
that.
an evolution in that theme, but it's always the same notes.
What's happening? You're scaring me. You're scaring me to death. Ellen.
There.
Call the police. Tell them to go to my house.
The acting there, man. The grandma
good.
doesn't understand a thing. Okay, want to know a very cool backstory? Well, what I consider a very cool backstory? You'll have to pause.
Okay. Yeah.
Why did I call my character Ellen?
Ripley. My immediately goes to Ellen Ripley from
You win right away, man.
yeah,
Congrats.
from-
Okay, very good. Aliens.
from
Yeah.
Rumble.
To me, there's only one Ellen,
Yeah, you got
and it's Ripley. Yeah.
and most people, that's the thing. Most people just know her as Ripley. I'm like, it's actually Ellen Ripley.
It's because of this specific scene right here. In Aliens, we find Ellen Ripley like what, 80, 90 years after the events of the first one, because she's in space somewhere and then she's found. She's brought back to a ship and we have to go back to the colony because blah, blah, blah. So she's dealing with the trauma. She gets there and we discover a softer side to the character when she encounters that little girl, Newt.
Yep.
And at the end of the film, she kind of become a surrogate mother because the kid is now an orphan. The planet is about to explode in like 15 minutes, and Bishop came back with another ship, but the kid has been taken by the aliens. So you have Ellen Ripley next to the ship, and she has a decision to make. She can either get on board and leave forever and be safe, or go back in the belly of the beast, trying to find a kid that might already be dead. It's an impossible decision, and she does go back to the lion's den. So I put my character kind of in the same dilemma here. When she's at the grandma's, she could just call the cops and wait in safety 10, 15 minutes for the cops to arrive. But a lot can happen in that small time frame. Yeah. So there is a choice, but there is not really a choice. So she just picked the first weapon she can, and she goes back into the belly of the beast trying to find a kid that might be dead. She doesn't know. So this parallel I really enjoyed. So I called my character Ellen. And now here is where the magic happens. In early stages of the script, the old lady wasn't the grandma. It was only a neighbor that would babysit Nicholas. But when I finally got my actors, I looked at them, the 3 of them, all blonde, all blue eyes, and they kind of look alike. And then I figured, that old lady could become the grandmother.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense when Helen tells her son, go to grandma's. She doesn't really look where he's going. If he's going to grandma and grandma lives on the same street, she's kind of reassured that he knows where he's going. So it just made more sense for the story. I called the old lady, the neighbor then, Mrs. Riley, to pay homage to Dewey Riley. Mm-hmm. And then when I made them a family, when they were later related, I figured if this is Mrs. Riley, then my main character's name is Ellen Riley. Take one letter or add one letter, it becomes Ellen Ripley. So this is another happy accident.
That's awesome.
Everything falls into place. I hope you people are enjoying those insights.
Oh, I love those kind of things, man.
Yeah. Those are the things that, next time I watch this, I'll be like, hey, I get this. I know that, It's
It's
very
subtle. It's not in your face, and that's the magic of it.
Hell
yeah, you'll have a different viewing experience next time because you know these things. Like it'll be just so slightly different.
It's so cool. So cool. It's another great shot right here.
And the music emphasizes all of it. I love it.
There's definitely one place that I already know. If I don't say pause it, Eric will say pause it. And hell, there's probably about an 85% chance that you'll say, hey, pause it. Like, it's one of my favorite shots of the whole movie.
Those staircases were so noisy. Like it was insane the amount of cracks and noise it would make. We had to recreate sound design because it sounded like a joke actually. So none of this sound is real. We have to redesign it. The shadow on the wall with the fire poker. Again, we didn't plan it, but when we were putting the scene together and I saw that, oh, we have to add this shot.
Oh yeah.
That window just adds so much.
It screams Amityville to me. Like that.
It does.
Kind of, right? I really fell in love with that too. So that staircase and that corridor with the window and the bedroom, 2 different houses.
Oh, I love that.
It. Yeah, I do too.
This entire scene when she finds the dead body and everything, we filmed in 20 minutes. It was the last day. We had no more time. So I had to put my actress on the spot. You have to cry now. You have to be destroyed now. You have 10 minutes to film 3 different shots.
That's not easy to do. Good on her.
Oh, no. She didn't have time to prepare to get into character, or at least in the scene, because we were block shooting. We were not filming in order. So she would always have to remember, now that we're refilming this scene in another angle, what was my mindset back then? But it works. She's really coherent all along. I love how she realizes where the kid is.
Yes. Yes.
Hello again.
Hello there.
Gorgeous.
Such
I called him gorgeous on set. Bring gorgeous in the shot. He looks just so good.
He looks great.
Byron swinging by to say hi. I gotta say what's up, Byron.
Yes.
What's up, Byron?
I assume that the thing is moving here. It's not supposed to. It should stand still, but it brings your attention to it's gonna be used at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's Chekhov's coat hanger.
Yep, we talked about that on the watch, man. I said
the light here.
Oh yeah,
we cheat everything.
Line down. Oh man, this is.
But figure that this whole closet has been built. It's fake. The walls are made of carton.
She left her fire poker out there. Her weapon.
Pause. Please pause.
All right, pausing.
At first, another happy accident. At first, when she puts it on the floor next to the bed because she thinks the kid is in the bed and she finds the dead husband. What I wanted to do, but because we didn't have time, I had to eliminate that shot, was to have this dolly, pull-out dolly. So you see her running out of the room and you stop on the fire poker. That was my main intention. I didn't have time to film that, but then I realized, oh my God, it's way cooler than that. Because when she puts it on the floor, it's kind of at an extremity of the frame. So you barely see it. And then you get with her into the emotion of finding the dead husband and realizing that the kid is not there. And if you're immersed in the story, just like her, you might forget that she's not taking the fire poker on her way out. And if I had put that shot I wanted earlier of the fire poker in the forefront, the viewer, the average viewer would all say, idiot, you forgot your weapon. But by not doing that, when she's in the closet and she sees it, you remember with her, oh my God, she forgot it. just like she does. So you are living the story through her eyes in a way.
Right.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. I wanted to.
Yeah,
share
that's really cool, man. Like
Yeah,
I
it
would
does. Yeah.
I would have never thought to look at it that way. But the way that you said that, like Eric, I guarantee it. If we're watching this and that fire poker's on the ground, we're like, why are you dropping the fire? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like keep your weapon with you. Keep your weapon with you.
Yeah.
At some point, it's like taking the viewer by the hand.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things I wanted to do at first that I'm so happy I decided to go the more subtle way. In early versions of the script, they would talk about the treehouse. Oh, you didn't go trick or treat. Instead, you spent your evening in the treehouse, taking the viewer by the hand to tell the viewer there's something that's going to happen in the treehouse. But in the end, just the drawing and seeing it when she's looking around for the husband is enough. Another example, the opening credits of the film. Very, very short, very effective. Huh? You have that jack-o'-lantern, the name of the 4 actors, and we jump right in the story. Initially, I thought about rehashing the first film. Like the 14 minutes of the first film, I would have limited it to 2 minutes-ish, just, peeks or glimpses of the first film to relive the story in a very short amount of time. So we understand that this is a direct sequel. Again, taking the viewer by the hand. Let the viewer find it out.
No, I like the way you guys did this. Like, because I immediately, it right away, because of the neighbor at the end. Hey, I don't remember the exact dialogue, but he's like, hey, what's going on over there? And then, she's tucking the kid in and you hear that same like, hey, what's going on over there? I'm like, we just watched that. Like,
but that's the point.
It immediately.
You just watched that. You watched the 2 films back to back. If you haven't watched the first film in months or in years, you won't remember that line. But at some point, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to remember to enjoy this specific second story. And then, if after 4 or 5 viewings, then you realize that, the surprise is amazing.
What kind of maniac doesn't watch the first one before they go see the sequel?
I don't know, man.
Good God, man.
Point them out.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you missed something like that because you didn't watch the first one, to revamp, that's on you.
The first one is still works very well. I'm surprised. It's been 15 months now, I think the first one came out, and it keeps being watched daily. Without any promotion, without me pushing for anything, just organically. It just keeps being watched every day. This is magic. I touch wood every time I talk about that.
Wow.
Very, very grateful. Thank you very much, everyone who keeps watching those films.
Yeah.
They're really, man, they're going to keep getting watched because they're just great films.
Yeah.
I love those stories. I crafted them with care and I took my sweet ass time. So I wanted to make something that would be appealing and that you don't get bored of watching. Simple but effective. Always. Less is more.
Yeah. We've said that quite a few times on the show, Eric, and you refer to that a lot. Less is more. Yeah.
We're on the same page. I like that.
All right. God, I just love those shots of Michael, and I just keep happening to pause it on him too.
Yeah.
It's like the third time.
I think it's just because there's so many great shots of Michael in here. It's hard to pause on a bad one.
The mask, huh? Through this shot here. Oh, man, it looks good.
And the breathing too. There's definitely fan films we've watched where they overuse the breathing audio.
I almost jumped. I was listening at what you say.
I absolutely love that. How she poked him and it just bounces off the mask. That is so good. There's that music again.
I made a joke out of what happened in the first one. She missed the eyes, but what you don't see is that she pokes him right on the neck hole, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. That
very OG, huh? Very 78.
Yes.
Okay, tell me, guys, do you understand here what happens? Why doesn't she go out?
Well, because that's directly in front of the
because she doesn't want to take Michael directly to it.
Thank you.
Trying to get him away.
Yeah.
We were filming that by the end of one of our filming nights. I didn't have time to cover all my angles, and Catherine has to portray that reflection without talking, and we have to understand our motivations here. So I was afraid that people wouldn't get it, but so far, pretty much everybody seems to.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Like her mother instincts are there. She wants to draw him away from her kid, but she's still got to get to him.
It's quite a bit she does, huh? By going downstairs and.
This shot right here.
This is the one I was talking about.
He fades back into that darkness.
It's the reverse shot that you have in the original when he appears behind Laurie Strode.
Yes.
It's the opposite shot.
Yes. You said it all. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about.
It was
Fantastic,
the intention,
man.
And it's a recreation of the window escape scene in Barbarian as well, a film that I really loved, and it's underrated. And that shot that happened in daylight with the character that they call Mother.
Yep.
As soon as I saw that first shot, I thought, what about it happens at night? And it's the shape that we see disappearing. It was way before starting making a Halloween fan film. So when I was writing the script, of course, I had to include that in there. And it also reminisces a little bit of It, Pennywise, when he's in the gutter. So I love this shot because there are so many things you can see in there. It encapsulates a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, just him disappearing into that darkness is just so beautiful, so perfectly lit.
It can be compared to a lot of things. Like you talked about It, you talked about the reverse, and this may be way off, but there's something about it too that gave me that same feeling about like when Jaws goes back into the water. Just a little bit of that too, and probably not the point of what it was, but it's that feeling because again, you see him and then you don't. Now he can be anywhere. At that point that he disappears, he can be absolutely freaking anywhere.
I really love that you bring that up because I don't remember how the idea came, but I remember that Halloween Stalks 2, the genesis of it was an image that came to mind probably in January 2023. And that image was a mom and a young boy hiding in a treehouse, looking out windows. And the backyard would be like the open sea.
Yes.
And the shape that I always saw as a great white shark might be somewhere in there. You just don't see it. So I built the whole story around that image that came to mind. So Halloween Stalks could thank Jaws for its existence.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. I think that some of that applies to Michael in itself for the simple fact that I've always made the comparison when he's talking about a shark's eyes, the dark eyes, like a doll's eyes. They don't even look alive until it bites you and those eyes go rolling. So good. There's so many good things about Jaws. And I've always made that comparison in my head to the shape, and I know that that's, for some people that look at it like, it's two totally different things. But in my mind, the same feeling, that same presence.
Absolutely.
To me, absolutely fantastic.
Two apex predators.
Yes, exactly. Apex to the fullest. Seriously. All right. She just got away. I was about to say he got away.
The score here. Samuel outdid himself here. When the music starts, when she gets into the driveway, third time we hear her theme. And there's some vintage sounds to it. Samuel did good here. Oh my God. I'm in love with the score here.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sweetie! Mom!
Like, get on my back, kid. We gotta go.
I was about to say, no time for pleasantries. We got to get out of here.
Poor kid, man. It was so late, and we filmed 2 consecutive nights, and he had to come back for the second night as well because he's in a lot of shots inside and outside the treehouse. He was extenuated. He was so tired after that, but he did good. I mean, he just turned 7, and working with such a young child is not that easy. When he doesn't want to play anymore, he doesn't. But he did good.
Yeah, they always say never work with animals or with kids.
Yeah, and I know why.
like, shh, I gotta get killed.
Can you come back, pause and come back to that specific shot of him in the door?
Peeking his head in there.
Yep. Okay, I'll get it.
I trust you.
I think I can hit a pause. There you go.
Oh, look on the left.
Nick. It says Nick.
Who's playing the shape in the original?
Yeah, there you go. Nick Castle.
And you don't see it clearly. It's dark, and you're focused on the mask. But when you know, this is my love letter to not to the character, but to the actor. And okay, that's gonna sound cheesy, but I always saw the treehouse as the kids' castle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very corny, but it works.
Yeah, hey, I like
Castle.
I think it
End up
works
seeing
great.
that someday.
I would have never put it together. Fantastic.
I completely missed it the first time because it kind of does blend in. You know, the colors, it doesn't stand out from the wall.
It's meant that way. I didn't want people to have their side. What's that? No.
Yeah, you don't
watch the character and to be into the intensity of the scene. But when you know, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely not pulling focus. Obviously, the thing that stands out right here is that plain white mask. God, it just looks so good.
It does.
It's very well lit here. It's probably the best shot of the mask throughout the entire film.
Fantastic. I do want to just say what's up to Clayton, who said just dropping by to smash that like button and say what up to the boys. What's going on, Clayton? I hope you're having a good night, buddy.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out Ages of Fear yet, go over and do so. He's doing some awesome stuff over there. Make sure you check him out. All right, here we go. Then I love how the like as
that
soon as
wasn't easy to film, man, and to assemble after that in the editing room. This kind of fight here. Oh, poor Catherine. We had to film every angle like 6 or 7 times. She was being dragged again and again. She hurt herself once or twice.
Oh God.
At first we had a real fire poker, and then we went with the dummy one. But at some point she kind of hurt her forehead with it.
Oh,
Catherine.
She's done a great job in this.
Yeah, she really does.
She carries the film on her shoulders.
Have a commanding presence.
I know, sweetie. We can't stay here. Come on, baby. We have to go down. I'll go first.
She's so like authentic and genuine in her portrayal. And I didn't make her a nurse for no reason. It's an homage to H2, of course. Mm-hmm. But making her a nurse, then the character, you understand that she's used to be under extreme pressure. So that's why she's cold-headed and she manages to fight instead of just freezing.
Hell yeah.
I'm always usually at this time like, go faster, move.
That's the idea.
Come on.
And the more she urges him, the slower he gets because he's stressed out.
There's a little river back there. You can
what
see
I'm talking about.
Yeah, you can see it just a little bit. Oh, great sit up too. That's not super easy to do.
No, it's not.
No, that my actor is also a stuntman, so he's very physical. Very in control of his body, so it really helped for some scenes.
And this is where the pajamas definitely came more into like, oh, look at him, because you see like the witch, the pumpkin, and the skull right there, all lined up on his shoulders or on his upper.
The knife is aligned with the kid. Look, the knife is aligned with the white pajama here. So it really stands out, and it's symbolic as well. One of my favorite shots of the film.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what too, when he's standing behind her with the knife, love that shot by the way. Kind of a little H2 there. Where he picks the girl up.
Absolutely.
So good.
Resurrection here, of course.
And there's the lighting of the
only a
lighting
little
of the
part,
mask.
huh?
Yeah,
and when he turns to the policeman, he's in complete darkness. I love everything here. The DP did a very good job, and our gaffer as well. How he lit the trees behind. He walks over the dead body of the mom. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like she's dirt, or she's not there.
Great use of the fog too as he's walking
Oh
away.
yeah.
A little over the top, but in the 80s, it was always like that. So we really had fun using that. And it brings textures to the whole image.
And then this right here. Talk about the pullback on Michael with the
It took 4 hours to nail.
Oh, wow.
There's choreography with the characters, the two policemen. There's we had to set up the rails. It's like 50 feet long of rails. The kid would always blink or move, so actually we did 8 takes of this, and we used the last one. And his mom at the end, you can pause, because he would always scratch his nose or blink, because it's hard. He's 7 years old. I mean, he's holding a knife, and this shot is like 45 seconds, right? So at some point, his mom was behind the camera, and the whole sound has been designed. It's all SFX here, because if you heard the real take, all you would hear is the mom saying, "Misha, looks in front of you." We put a red tape on something. So look at the red tape. Don't blink. Don't blink. Don't scratch your nose. Look at the red tape. Don't blink. Don't open your mouth. Look at the red tape. Non-stop for those 45 seconds, so we could get the shot.
Wow.
But yeah, I was really stressed out, and when we got the right one.
Yeah, I mean, instant OG Halloween vibes for me.
We had never seen that before in any other fan films, and I think even in the real films, it came in the flashback scene in Kills. I think that's pretty much about it. That scene hadn't really been recreated anywhere.
Right.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it's
Not
not
that I
something we've
remember.
seen often.
Yeah, I haven't seen, and even in like Rob Zombie's remake, he didn't use that scene. He had a different iteration, which I appreciated his different take on it.
But
made
it its own, and it's good.
I don't think, like you said, Halloween Kills, when they did the flashback, you get kind of the exact same thing with Michael and Hawkins and everything right after Hawkins shoots his partner.
Yeah, with Loomis standing behind him.
But they have those huge crane. I mean, they have the machinery that is required. Here we only had a dolly with some kind of a crane on it, but it wasn't super stable. So it was very hard to nail for the actors, but technically for the crew as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just, I actually got to run. I got to work here in like 10 minutes. So
okay.
This has been awesome. I know you guys are going to keep going.
Yeah.
It was really nice meeting you. You've made some hell of fan films.
Man.
Thank you. And I will have to watch the replay to find out, any updates on part 3 if there's going to be one. But I'm super excited. And yeah, thanks for putting these out there, man. You did great work. I know it's not easy to make a film, and just doing it out of love for a franchise is really, I think, like the ultimate sign of respect for a franchise. So, yeah, dude, this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming to be a part of the show as well.
My very pleasure. Thank you for the invite, man. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll have to do this soon, especially if you get part 3 going, man. I'll support anything you can. I'll support any sort of
trying and naming that again. If there's a part 3, part 3.
If there's a part 3, I'll support any sort of crowdfunding, anything you got, any help you need with it that I can give. I don't want to speak for Michael, but I'm pretty sure Michael feels the same way, because he makes some damn good stuff. But with that, I do have to get running. Thanks everyone who showed up. I'll see you all tomorrow on my channel for something similar.
All right, take care, Eric.
Peace.
See you soon.
Yeah, so there was a little scene at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to get into that. I moved ahead, to that through the credits. And then I want to definitely open it up to the chat to ask some questions. And I have 2 really big ones for you that I definitely want to ask. All right, let's go ahead and check out this post-credit scene.
Two, 81. Halloween 2 came out in 81.
Nice.
Ellen, is this a joke? Because it's not funny. I called the police and they're headed your way. Please call me back and let me know if everything's okay. Please.
Poor grandma.
Yeah.
She never understood what was going on.
She
When
has no clue.
No, because when the daughter comes in, she never finishes her sentence. There's someone in. Where's Nicholas? So she doesn't get a thing, and she's trying to call. No one answers, and no one will ever answer again. And she's being stalked after that. So it's so like not dramatic, but
It's a
sort of.
way of leaving your audience like, oh shit.
Yeah,
You
no,
know
but
what
I mean,
mean?
for her, I'm so mean to my characters. That's what I want to say. It makes good cinema. I'm really mean to them. Tragic, yeah.
Yeah.
Her story throughout the film is so tragic. She loses everyone, everything, and just to end up being stalked and tortured. And we can only imagine what he's doing. She's such an easy prey. He will take his time there.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is a fantastic movie. I had a blast with this, this whole thing. Like from start to finish, I was entertained the entire time. And I'm a very big Halloween fan. Um, it's just like, man, you got it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk for a long time just to talk, man. But it's just like when this was over, I was like, this guy gets it. Before I even met you, I was like, this guy gets it right here. Because of the way the shape is. Like, I'm a
Stupid
purist.
grin.
Yeah, I'm a purist when it comes to Halloween. Like, after 4, I don't care. In all honesty, and the only reason I like 4 is because it was entertaining. But
The story was good, yeah.
Yeah, it was. But once you get out of that, like, I really love the original shape. What he was supposed to be before he became something else. Like that's and this, I got a lot of those vibes from it. You know what I mean? And it took me to the place that I like to go when I'm watching Halloween. There's no thorns, there's no tattoo, there's no family. It's just Michael and the victims.
It must be very difficult for those filmmakers who got hired to make a 7th, a 8th, a 9th sequel, because there's so many things that came before. And when you're making a fan film and a short film, you can give yourself the easiness, if I can say. As you're making something small, you don't have to care about mythology and fleshing out stuff. You keep things to what's essential. But when you have to make a hour and a half film, you expect some subplots and backstory. And when you have a character like the Shape that shouldn't or can't really be explored, and you decide to create some backstory, you take a risk. But when you're the 7th film in line, it must not be an easy task. So I can say I love all those films, but I respect everything that came after 1 and 2. 1, I mean, it's the originals, and the thing came before. They established something, and they did good, but they had that that nice role of bringing something new. Try to bring something new after that when you shouldn't expand. It's kind of
it's a tough thing to do. Yeah, definitely. Now, one question I wanted to ask you before I jump into the chat here of people wanting to ask questions. Did you feel pressure making Halloween, a Halloween film? Was it like, you talked about, times you were stressed out during the film and everything, but was it like, I have to, you're going to want to make your best project possible. But did you think about the amount of eyes that would watch this movie? Because it is Halloween. You can, like, I noticed when I put a Halloween video out, it immediately gets double the views that normal videos do, because there's such a fan base for it. And plus, with the slashers, it's what's hot now. David Gordon Green's trilogy is very new, so there are a lot of people on that Michael train right now. So did you feel like a pressure when you were making this? Like, there's going to be a ton of people watching this movie,
When I made the first one, I always put pressure on myself, because when I do something, I want to do it good. And the first one, I had no experience in filmmaking prior to that. I work as a videographer the rest of the time. So it was my first time making a project of that scale. I was stressed out to make something good because I was asking people I didn't know to come help out. And the first one took 4 nights to film, and it was always outside in the woods. So I owed to them to make something good. I wasn't really stressed out about the views because I'm not known, and I had no idea my first film would reach out to so many people. In my mind, making the first one was a way to experiment with nighttime filmmaking, building suspense. It's really an essay in that sense. It's an exercise, and it wasn't even supposed to be a full story. At first, I just wanted to film one scene when a man comes out of the back, the patio door, and the shape is behind the tree.
Yeah,
that's the first image that came, and I just wanted to film that to experiment. But then, as I was writing that, I figured I want to know what happened before, and I want to know what happens next. So I ended up creating that thing that is 14 minutes long. But it was mostly for me, for fun, for my crew.
Yeah.
I was gonna put it on YouTube, but I had no idea if it would really end up being watched, which it did, and people seemed to really enjoyed it. So you could think that making the second one would really up the pressure, but I made the second one to cope with the fact that I was not working on the first one anymore. So again, it was mostly for me, because when I finished working on the first one, it had been encompassing for 4 months. I put my day job aside and I solely focused on making this film, on the making, on the post-production. So 4 full months dedicated to a 14 minutes film. And what I didn't anticipate is that at some point it was all gonna end. And like one morning I would wake up and I don't have to work on it anymore because last night I put it online and now it's over. I don't have to polish it more now. Right. So January 14th, I woke up and I was happy because the film was out there. I was receiving messages, but a few days after that, I felt some kind of emptiness. Like, what do I do now? Going back to my 9-to-5 day job, So to cope with that feeling of emptiness, I started to work on the story of the second one. I didn't know if I would ever make it because making the first one had been such hard work. And I was writing ideas for fun, but at some point, those ideas starting to inhibit me. I had to get them out. It was, in my opinion, it was too good. I really got excited. I wanted to see it on a screen. So during summer, I started to look more seriously for filming locations. I gather a team, and the first one, we were a cast and crew of maybe 10 persons. On the second one, I think all in all, we were 40 persons working on that. So a way bigger project. 5 filming locations, a huge truck full of gear. The film is twice as long, but it was 10 times the work. And the first filming nights, we started with that long pullout at the end of the film with the kid and the 2 cops. That was the very first shot that we did. We had planned an hour and a half to make that on our schedule. It ended up taking 4 hours. And so the first night started with a 2 hours and a half un retard. What's the word in English? We were late of 2 hours and a half. And then I started to feel stressed out. It was the first time I had to manage such a crew. The first film, we were shooting on the property of the parents of my friends who played the shape. So when you're at your friend's parents, it's not as stressful as when you are at someone's house you don't know.
Right.
So everything was bigger, and I think the stress was to just get through it. Like, am I going to be able to lead that ship to the port?
I gotcha.
So there were some sleepless nights.
Well, man, it came out fantastic. Like,
thank you.
Fantastic. And Russell's got a question for you in the chat, and he's saying, question for Dominic, was the grandma reference to the Cult of Thorn?
No, I can understand why this question, because she looks like that old lady, but no, she's a reference to Mrs. Elrod in H2. The same pink night robe.
Yeah.
So no, it's a reference to H2. It can be, but I didn't intend it like that.
I got you. Now, James, the Shape, was asking, Dominic, was that mask behind you used in the movies? Just curious.
The one there, the holder one, was used for Halloween Stalks 1. The reason I didn't use it for the second film is that it started to flake on the neck because Benoit, who played the Shape in part 1, kind of did a Nick Castle of himself and would not always be gentle with the mask. And the latex paint started to flake a little bit. At first, it was only small, tiny dots, and it was not really noticeable. But by the end of the shooting of the first one, it became wider spots, and I had to hide it in some way at some points. So I knew that for the second film, I couldn't use the same one. I reached out to Danny, the reholder of the mask, just to ask him for some advice. Is there anything I can do? And what he told me is that the best avenue would be to send the mask back to him, so he would just undo the paint and redo it from scratch, which would be costly. But then he tells me, even if it's not his fault, he kind of felt bad that the mask he sold me was now aging and getting damaged. So he offered to make another one for free and send it. And when I told him that I was going to make a sequel to the first Stalks, he got super excited. And he told me, dude, the next mask I'm sending you will be my best work ever. So I told him, wait, patient. I'm not making the next film right away. It's because back then it was in January 2023. I told him, if I'm making a film, I'm going to film it next fall again. And what he told me is that he would take this time to perfect his methods. And he just enhanced his techniques. So the hair are now different. The way he applied the paints is different. So what's magic here is that those two masks kind of look alike, but they are different in the same time. And this one right here, it's the Saint Graal. It's a magnificent beast. Let me take it. I see the opposite way. Come here, big boy. There you go.
Fantastic.
That's our hero for HS2. The hair is magnificent. The shape of the eyes, the cuts of the eyes, the paint. He even put the neck poke.
Yeah. That looks fantastic.
Totally agree.
Absolutely fantastic. And that was the biggest thing when I saw the first one for the first time. It was shortly after it came out, and I was just like, man, that mask, like, because you remember you made it, the opening credits, instead of the pumpkin, it was the mask, and it immediately pulled me in because the mask looked so good. It was just like the way it was lit, it had the black eyes, and it was just like, damn, man, look at how this guy's starting this movie off.
We stated earlier that this character is kind of the apex predator. And there's something about this mask that is, once you lay your eyes on it, you just can't take your eyes off of it. Because as soon as you look away, if you come back, he might not be there anymore. So you have to keep looking in case he attacks. And it's just a mask. But when you look at it, there's something predatorial that emanates of it. And I thought starting a film with the opening credits featuring the mask, right away, it sets you on some kind of edge, on some kind of unease. Like the film is not even started and you already feel in danger.
Yeah. I mean, for the normal person, you are 100% right. I'm sitting here flipping out as a fan. Like, look how freaking good that mask looks. You know what I mean? I'm like, look at it. Look, me and this, the gentleman who's with me on Sundays, we watched it a while ago. And the whole time, look at that freaking mask. He actually sells masks for a living. And he's just like, man, that is absolutely fantastic.
The kid within me was so excited when the box arrived. I opened the box and I took the mask out. I think I felt like Michael Myers in 2018 when he takes the mask off the back trunk. He probably felt like I did, holding it in his hands. Oh my God, man. The feeling was there's no word to describe that feeling.
Yeah. the next thing I wanted to ask you, and then feel free to throw out any questions in the chat that you guys may have for Dominic. Why Halloween? Like, is it? Yeah.
If anybody has listened or watched any other podcast I've been on, I get asked that many times. So I like to retell that story because it's a personal one. So good for you if you've never heard that before. I came in contact with horror with Jaws. Jaws was my very first horror film.
Excellent.
Slashers came a little later. Slashers came in my life when I was 10. It was 1996, and Scream just came out on pay-per-view or we had something like Canal Indigo in Quebec. That you know, instead of going to the video club, you can just rent it on TV.
Yes.
So every kid would talk about Scream in the schoolyard. Like, have you seen that? Oh, my mom is renting that this weekend. And I was kind of afraid. I was kind of scared of that film, but I didn't want to be the lame kid left alone because he's the only one who wouldn't have watched it. So I managed to convince my mom. I had to lie, actually, that it was not a horror film. She wouldn't watch the trailer, so she would never have rented that if she knew what it was.
Yeah.
But I convinced her to rent it on pay-per-view, and the film was so good. And I'm really big on killer masks. When the mask look good, I'm captivated. And we're not gonna lie, the ghost face mask is something else. But believe it or not, the ghost face mask, when I watched the first Scream, was overshadowed by Halloween. Because this film, Scream, it's an homage to Halloween.
It's a love letter, yes.
And the references are not subtle. They talk about Halloween in it. That's what Drew Barrymore is about to watch early on. And you have this very cool scenes and glimpses on the TV at the Stumacher's party. And when Randy stands up to talk about the rules so you survive in a horror movie, they freeze the film and they pause the film. And you have this frame of the shape with the knife here. And I was so into that, like, what the hell is that? Why have I never heard about that? I really want to know about what it was. So when the film ended, I went to my mom and, Mom, do you know what Halloween is? And my mom is she's kind of a case. She can't stand horror movies, but she has to watch them. She's afraid, but she can't help herself. She has to watch them. And she told me that back in 1978, she went to see the original Halloween in cinema. Lucky her. And she was with her boyfriend. What she tells me is that she's in line with the boyfriend. And people are watching the film in the theater. And when the film ends, while they are waiting in line for the next representation, people comes out. And we have to put things in context. Back in 1978, we weren't as desensitized as we are now to horror, gore, violence. So people comes out of the theater and they tell people in line, don't go see that. Like, you'll never recover from that. You'll get traumatized. It's horrible. Don't go see that. So my mom looks at her boyfriend. I don't want to go anymore. But the boyfriend has been waiting for like 20 minutes, half an hour. No, we're going in. So he drags her in, and they ended up watching the film. And what she would tell me is that during the film, she would have her hand on his. And every time there would be a scary scene or a jump scare, her nails would dig in. So by the end of the film, the boyfriend came out of the theater with a bloody slashed hand.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, that's what she told me.
Wow.
And she ended up that nice story by telling me, son, you are never watching Halloween. And I'm the kind of person, when you tell me no, so I managed to find a VHS copy that I watched with a friend of mine, hiding out. And just because of that, because I had to maneuver to get to that film, I always felt a special bond with Halloween. And let's be honest, it's a freaking good film. The structure is still used as a reference 46 years later for most of the slasher films. So I would come back to Halloween when I would grow older, and then I would discover H20 and Resurrection and Halloween 4. But I would always go back to the first one because there was something so good about it. The character, the way he walks, the way he acts, the way he moves.
Yeah.
I'm like hypnotized by the character when I watch him. So it just stayed. And years later, I would find out about fan films on YouTube by accident. And most of them are about Halloween. So it kind of ignited a passion project that would be kept as an idea for years until I decided to make the jump. I've been wanting to do that for years, but I was afraid that I couldn't nail it, that I couldn't do it, that I didn't have what it took.
Mhm.
And at some point, one morning, I woke up and I realized that the fear of not doing it had become more present or stronger than the fear of trying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always said, I'd rather try and fail than never try at all, because in our final moments, those are the things we'll think about. Like I should have, or I could have, or I would have. You know what I mean? And that's something that I tell. I'm still new in my YouTube journey. Of doing a show. But when younger people that are newer than me ask me stuff about it, I always tell them, just do it, because if you don't, you'll regret it one day, because it was something that you wanted to do. That's a fantastic story, man. Like that's hell yeah. Halloween was the first slasher movie I've ever seen, and the fact that in 78, people are like, don't watch that, and that's 4 years after Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. You know what I mean? So it's just like, wow, that's big. And I mean, the score has so much to do with that makes me love it so much. You notice when we were watching your film tonight, I brought up score a lot because the music is something that pulls me into something. It's what gives me those feelings, that urgency to go along with what's on screen. And you did a fantastic job with that. And I definitely want to make sure you know.
All credits to Samuel. I gave him inspirations track that I would take from films here and there, but he's the one who came up with it. And it's a fine balance to make a good score, because the music has to enhance things, not create emotions. It has to push further.
Yes.
But you can't rely on music to do everything.
Yeah. And the timing of the music, like 100%.
Absolutely.
Like that's big.
It's a question of pace. It's pacing the film like the editing will do, like the order of your scenes or what happens will do. The music has to be another instrument to set up your pace.
Oh yeah. Well said. Russell is asking, do you have anything planned on another fan film? So are you
like another story or another franchise?
Or just anything in general? Like, are you making plans to? You're not done shooting with Halloween Stalks 2 at this point, are you?
At some point, I can't spend my life doing fan film, because when you do fan fiction, you cannot get proper funding. The only way you can get funding is by doing Indiegogo campaigns or stuff like that, because as you don't own the rights on the IP, no one will fund your thing. And you cannot make any money out of it because, again, you don't own the rights. So those two films really did cost a lot of work, but lots of money as well. Yeah. And even if I tried for the second one to launch a Indiegogo campaign, it didn't really work out. So I ended up funding those two films myself. Oof. And I put myself in financial risk. I won't lie on that to make that. It was willingly, it was knowingly, but I cannot go that route for a third time. So you open the door. If there is a producer out there who want to write me a check right now, I'll dive into another fan film, either Halloween Stalks 3 or something else. But if not, I still want to tell my own stories, Not that Halloween Stalks 2 is not my own story. I came up with, I used the character of the shape, but I created my own universe and my own story. But I would like to create something original as well. I really love the world of suspense, thrillers, horror, scary movies. There's something like the scary aspect of a scary movie brings up and enhances the emotions that your characters are experiencing. So I really love the genre. I don't know yet. I don't know if I want to stick with fan films, because there are limitations. When I decided to make Stalks 2, after making the first one, that served as a ground to experiment and learn, I really wanted the second one to be my business card in a way. And what's good with fan films is that if the fan base enjoy what you do, you can get a pretty good amount of views fast and make a name for yourself pretty fast as well. What I hope is that Stalks 2 will do that for me. And if it does, I think I can move on to more personal projects. Not that I don't want to do a third Stalks.
Right.
But another thing is that I think the way the second one ends, it would be really difficult to top that. Like, where do I go from the second one to make something even better? You know, I would really need the best idea. I won't do it if I don't have an idea. But again, last year I was coping with the ending of the first one, and then this image of a mother and her son in a treehouse just appeared from only God knows where, and then it was there, and I just couldn't get it out unless I did the goddamn film. So perhaps I'm cursed and it will happen again. I don't know yet. Thing I can say though, I've been solely focused on part 2 for a full year. I do need a tiny step back, just to catch my breath and let my what I call my creative canvas, my creative mind, just to reset a little, because I'm still thinking about Halloween Stalks 2. As soon as I'm thinking about create something, I see the mask of the shape. So I think I need a break, a few weeks, perhaps a few months, before I dive into writing something, either HS3 or something totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the video we just watched right now. This video's 2 weeks old. There's 21,000 people that have watched your movie in 2 weeks.
We'll take that.
And here's the thing, man. With that, there was no, at least I didn't hear. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't, but there was no indication that it was coming out. So that's 21,000 with no Indiegogo, with no previews that I noticed. Not to say that they weren't there,
but I don't really master the tools to promote to a large audience. I have my community on Instagram. I think I have maybe 1,000 and a few hundreds followers there that have been there since the beginning and keep encouraging me, and they share what I do. But I don't know how to advertise something to a very large audience. So the thing kind of does its own path online. I don't know what you call viral. I don't know if it takes 100,000 views to call something viral. But my films kind of became viral in their humble way.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic though. 21,000 without that.
It's an honor. Yeah, I'm really moved by that. Like, people watching it, and if you put the numbers aside, focus on the comments under the film.
Yeah,
like, it's not only thumbs up and hey, nice job. It's mostly long paragraphs of appreciation by fans who really enjoyed it and have a lot to say about it, and they will list what they like. And sometimes there's a long list. So this is really touching and really humbling.
That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. And I spoke to you a little bit, backstage. If you do have anything coming out, let us know. We'll definitely promote, on this channel for sure. Jason has this for you. Thank you for sharing your story, Dominick. Very inspiring. I had a similar experience at age 10 with my dad seeing the film in cinemas. The memories are awesome. Yeah, man.
Those memories we make when we're young stick with us.
Yeah,
I remember one of my first experience in cinema was seeing Jurassic Park. It came out in summer 1993. I turned 7 in September, so I was 6 when I came to the theater with my dad watching that. And I remember that the scene with the Dilophosaurus, the one with that big round thing over his head with Dennis Nedry, the bad guy of the film. That's the scene that scared me.
Really?
And, I remember holding my dad's hand because I was afraid. But I'm 37 and a half now, and I still remember that. Like, it left an impression. It was a moment I shared with my dad that I never forgot. I had a freaking good time at the movies. And then we bought the VHS, and we had to buy it a second time because I watched it so many times that it was unwatchable at some point. And that's the film that kind of made me want to dig more into filmmaking, and that's the genesis of what I'm doing now.
That's fantastic. I still remember my first movie. It was Return of the Jedi, Star Wars. And I wanted to sit in the very first row because I thought that if you're in the front, like this is how young I was. I thought that you had the best seat. Well, I quickly learned that was not the best seat. I remember leaving there. I loved the movie, but I remember leaving there. My ears hurt because back then the speakers were in front and they were just blaring forward. So it was a rough time. But my second movie I ever saw was Friday the 13th, Part 5 with my dad. I was a kid. My neighbors were talking about how they went and saw Friday the 13th, Part 4. I was mad. I didn't go. So when 5 came out, my dad's like, we'll go. And that was the one that didn't have Jason in it. And that was my first one that I went to the theater to see. It's you just never forget stuff like that, man. They leave an impression on you that's there.
That's why we said earlier, watching films together is something that brings people together and leaves the best memory. We talked about that after that, and we remember where we were, how old we were when we watched those films for the first time. And we keep revisiting them because we love the films, but I think we love the memories that are attached to those films.
I agree 100%. Let's see. Russell's saying, amazing job on Halloween Stalks 1 and 2, Dominic. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Michelle's saying, great movies, Dominic. Everybody's, having a great time, with you being our guest tonight, watching your movies. No matter what it ends up being, we can't wait to see what you do next. My moderators have been awesome, promoting all of your links all night.
Val, thank you, Val. You're doing a great job. I saw it coming back again and again. Thank you.
Yes. Sarah as well. She's been doing it. Val sent me a message. I guess they lost power where she's at. So she's probably like, wanting to check it out. But dude, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Of course.
And I only speak for I not only speak for me, Eric, who was here earlier, who had to go to work. This new time's kind of tough for us to do this show. But you're welcome back anytime, my friend. Definitely welcome here. And we look forward to what you're doing next.
Oh, there will
Whatever
be something.
It may be.
I'm not done with storytelling. I have plenty of ideas. Just has to decide what's the next project, because I like to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I give it my entire attention, and I pay attention to details. And that's the success of what I do, I think, because everything matters. There's nothing there that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
The smallest element will be considered.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see what you do next, man. You definitely made a fan out of me and watching these movies. And then, the people in the chat, I can just look. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you. All through the chat. That you coming by here and hanging out with us tonight has been fantastic for not only me, but everyone here in the chat. And it's been a pleasure. So I want to thank you again for that.
No, I had one hell of a time. Thank you very much for the invite. And tell me, when we close this live stream, is this chat disappearing? Because I would love to go through the messages, and if there are questions that we didn't have time to answer, perhaps I can write to some people. Is this going to disappear, or there is a way to save the chat?
Let's look at it when we get backstage. So when I end the show, me and you will take a look at it, see what we can do to make sure that you get that. But on that note, so just hang out with me once the exit runs. And I'll talk to you backstage. So everybody else, I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. This has been an absolute blast. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you